Good morning, everyone. It's the Board of Trustees regular meeting. It's November 26th, 2019. It is 9:01 a.m. This is meeting number 2019-25. Please take the roll.
President Barry?
Here.
Trustee Desmond?
Here.
Trustee Phelan?
Here.
Trustee Vorder?
Here.
Trustee Mallow?
Here.
Trustee Stalker?
Here.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would everyone rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have public comments. Dr. Kenneth Yerkes. You have 3 minutes, sir, and we need you to come to the podium and let us know if you're an Oak Lawn resident, okay? And the podium would be right over here. There you go.
There's no speaker.
Thank you.
Mike. Mike? He's a big guy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
To the board, I want to thank you for your service to our community. I'm Dr. Yerkes. I'm an Oak Lawn resident and an Oak Lawn business owner. I'm expressing my opposition to allowing any businesses in Oak Lawn to sell or dispense marijuana in Oak Lawn. I'm going to cite my strong opposition, being a healthcare provider, being also a business owner, and being a community family activist. I did some research, and there's actually some lessons learned from Colorado. First of all, before doing that, I want to talk about healthcare and why actually that marijuana there's actually a problem with marijuana, is that actually there's an increased risk of serious mental illness, including psychosis, paranoia, suicidal thoughts, and depression. Marijuana also carries risk, particularly for young people and those with a family history of mental illness. There's actually the effect of cannabis on opioid alternatives. There's no evidence that cannabis reduces pain severity. Lessons learned from Colorado. Marijuana-related traffic fatalities are up 151%. This is actually from the Colorado's former U.S. Attorney Bob Troyer wrote an opinion piece for the Denver Post entitled, "It's Time We Took a Breath from Marijuana Commercialization." Basically, Colorado has been issued over 40 little publicized recalls of retail marijuana laced with pesticides and mold. Also, Colorado's black market has actively exploded after commercialization. Being a dad, I'm very concerned about marijuana. I think it is a gateway drug. There's more research that needs to be done. There's not enough research being done. And actually, as a business owner, I won't actually stand for being, I wouldn't actually, I've been a business owner here for 37 years. I'm a healthcare provider. And I wouldn't actually move into Oak Lawn, actually be close to any place where this is being sold. So that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm pretty sure my 3 minutes are up. I have more to say, but basically that's all I want to actually make my point. And thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yerkes. Item 4 is conflict of interest disclosure. Does anyone have a conflict to disclose with any item on tonight's agenda? Hearing none, we're going to move on to item 5, fall on the green check presentation. I'd like to call our friends up from Park Lawn up to the podium, please. And Trustee Mallow, would you care to join me, sir? Good morning. So we have a big festival every fall called Fall on the Green, and it is a big community party. We sell a lot of beer there, and a lot of beer, and the proceeds we feel should benefit local charities. Park Lawn has provided volunteers to help make this festival successful for many, many years. I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Mallow at this point. Trustee Mallow.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I just want to take a moment to congratulate the staff on a successful 2019 Fall in the Green. We were able to provide some checks to Park Lawn for $19,606.76, and to the Courage Program for
One
$7,000.
at a-
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay. This is for Park Lawn. And we're real proud to be able to do this for them. Don't cash that one.
So just on behalf of everyone at Park Lawn, we would like to thank the village, the mayor, the trustees, the board, all of the volunteers, the staff here at the village for giving Park Lawn this opportunity to be a part of this super fun event. We love it every year. We love, of course, serving the beer and holding our raffle. And we also love the outcome of a very nice contribution to Park Lawn. As you all know, we are an agency that provides very much needed and quality programs and services to people with developmental disabilities. Wally here is enrolled in our, say hi, Wally. This is Wally. He's enrolled in our Community Day Services program, and he lives at our community home here in Oak Lawn. And Wally's been with us for a very long time, and we're both very grateful for your generosity. So thank you very much. We're done.
Oh, we're done.
You get to carry this big.
Yeah, let them speak.
Yeah, good, you can. And, yeah.
15 minutes of fame cut short.
We have someone from Courage. Hi, come on up. How are you today? Good. We're excited to have you here as well. Trustee Mallow.
Yeah, the second program that we donate to for the Fall in the Green is the Courage Program. We're able to provide a check for them for $7,842.70.
Thank you. Thank you to the village and the community. My name is Molly O'Grady. I am the director of the Courage Program. And for those of you who do not know, Courage is a program for single moms with infants and children. We run solely on donations, and we provide them many things to make life better, and we couldn't do it without the community's support. So thank you again. We are very grateful.
So it is truly a time of Thanksgiving in the community of Oak Lawn. We want to thank our partners, our local charities, and especially all our volunteers and people who came to Fall on the Green and enjoyed the beer and, made this possible. Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving to Park Lawn and Courage Program. Thank you for all you do for those who need it in our community. You're wonderful resources for us all. Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, but those are the largest checks we've ever did, right?
Brian can answer that. How does this compare to years past, Brian?
3 by 12, 6.
The second largest. So we had we had the second largest beer sales, right, this year? And
A couple years ago, we had a little bit better sales, because I think, again, it's all tied to the weather.
yeah, so the weather impacted that, so second largest, but,
I think it's important to point out, because we always joke about that, beer sales are not the only revenue item we have for Fall in the
Well,
Green.
I'm sorry.
We have a lot of sponsors who donate money and underwrite and that also results in the monies going to the organization. So I know we kind of joke about it always being beer sales, but
we did sell a lot of beer though,
yeah,
Tom.
I know.
Yeah, but,
Volunteers are critical to its success.
it is, and the volunteers make it happen, the people who come and have a great time make it happen, and,
Donors,
the donors, our sponsors.
the ones who care about it, yeah.
you know, so it's a great time. I hope all residents come out next year and make it even better. Let's have it the biggest check next year. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome. Item 7, approval of the meeting minutes for the special meeting minutes 2019-24 dated November 13th, 2019. May I have a motion?
Number 6.
I'm sorry, number 6, approval of the meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes 2019-23 dated November 12th, 2019. May I have a motion on 6?
Move to approve.
Thank you. That was trustee Phelan who made the motion. Second,
I'll second, Mayor.
that was trustee Stalker? No, trustee
Porter.
Porter. Okay, thank you. Let's call that vote, please. Oh,
Trustee
any
Porter.
discussion? Call the vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Abstain.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Abstain.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes 402.
Thank you. Now we're on item 7, approval of meeting minutes for the special meeting minutes 2019-24 dated November 13th, 2019. May I have a motion, please, on 7?
Move to approve.
Thank you. That was trustee Phelan again, seconded by
Second.
trustee Oliniechek. Thank you. Any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Abstain.
And Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes 501.
Thank you. 8 is approval of the meeting minutes for executive session minutes 1908 dated August 13th, 2019, number 1909 dated October 14th, 2019, number 1910 dated October 22nd, 2019. May I have a motion on item 8, please?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you. That was trustee Vorder. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was trustee Stalker. Thank you. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
New business by village trustees. Item 9, we're going to start District 1. Trustee Desmond.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy this beautiful fall weather. That's all I have. Thank you.
District 2.
Well, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy this beautiful fall weather. And if you are a senior in need, we still have the senior snow shoveling sign up that ends at the end of this week. So if you have a need, please make sure you get registered. Thank you.
Thank you. District 3.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to make a mention of a letter that the Village of Oak Lawn sent out this week. It was in regards to MC Squared. This is the Village of Oak Lawn's Echo Green Electricity Aggregation program, and I just wanted to make mention of that and just assure our residents that the MC Squared, MC Squared, right? That's what it is. So they're a legitimate company that we've approved. So if seniors or anybody sees this as their supplier of electric, you don't need to worry that you're getting gouged or anything like that. So I wanted to mention that just because this came to the mail to me this week. So
Thank you. Very good. District 4.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving, and it's great to be an American, and it's even better to live in Oak Lawn. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. District 5.
Yeah, we have a lot to be thankful for here in Oak Lawn, and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. District 6.
Thank you, Mayor. An item I spoke about in the Finance Committee bears repeating because some people weren't here. Relative to our agendas, the agenda is the Board of Trustees agenda, and the process that usually or used to be followed, I think it still is, but we've had some changes recently and some vacancies. But from a process standpoint, if we can, as a board and as an administration, understand that things that go on the agenda, generally speaking, should come from the electeds. And I think our rule was 2 people. 2 electeds have to put it on. Jane, if we can maybe put in parentheses who those people are, and/or the manager's recommendation. In that case, Chief, if you can put in your in parentheses, manager's recommendation, it's going to eliminate a lot of, as we get agendas and see something, well, who put this on here? And then
Mayor can add things too.
you're an elected. I said you're part of the elected.
But
Oh, yeah, okay, the mayor, yeah. So, and that doesn't mean that somebody on staff can't have a good recommendation, but just to run it through the chief, if the chief runs it through whomever decides on his own, that way, the phones are lighting up saying, who put this on there? And they're well-intentioned, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong, but it just eliminates a lot of chaos and communication and calls to the chief and attorneys and back and forth with the mayor. So I think there were a couple of items on here, again, well-intentioned, but really it wasn't put on here by anybody on the board or the manager. So that's number one. Number two, on the water meter replacement program we talked about, I think I saw the statistics. Steve, I don't know, we're 4% done. Looks like we're clipping along pretty good. So it sounds like we're ahead of schedule. Steve said we have 12 full-time plumbers working on it. And a lot of times we on the board talk about these things and really, you know, I don't want to say it's difficult to kind of understand what the residents are going through, but I just received my third notice. I know they're color-coded. I think I got a red one. I don't know if the next one's going to be black and your water's cut off, but the process is you're getting cards in the mail. They instruct you to call a number, or I went online and it was painless. You go online, you put in a 2-number code, and you pick date and a time, and you get a confirmation. That's when they're going to come. So again, I think some people are encountering either they're not getting the notice or they're ignoring the notice, and at some point, your water will have to be shut off. So I think it's important that you pay attention to these notices and you tackle them as quickly as possible. But again, I want to reiterate that how easy it is, everybody with smartphones nowadays, you pop right on there, you hit the website, and you put in your information, and it's good to go. You get and our finance director said there's also a call, so probably 3 or 4 written, 3 in the mail, and the phone call. All right, so 5 different efforts. I mean, that's pretty substantial. And of course, if you get the first notice and you take care of it, you're reducing the need for us to spend money, to mail, to call, so you're helping yourself or helping ourselves from a citizenry standpoint and taxes. So just encourage everybody to try to tackle that as quickly as possible. And the final item is, like the rest of the board, wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Very nice. Thank you. Village Manager's report.
Tom stole my thunder on that when I was going to talk about the water meter program. And as far as we've had very few shut-offs where we've had to do, and I think that's to the credit of, Steve and the water department and Brian's office, because he's been really involved in that. But again, there's been a few, and there's been some conflict back and forth on that we weren't notifying people. There are 3 notices that go through the mail. Again, I'm going to reiterate that. A door hanger that goes on where it's almost giving you like that final notice. We try to give you one more phone call, and then they shut your water off, unfortunately. And some of those have been on a weekend, and then we have to call somebody in to come turn your water back on. Then there's a fee for that. So please get these done as soon as you can. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Item 11 is our consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda are routine or have been brought forward at the direction of the Board of Trustees and will be enacted with one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. 11A is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for parking variation for medical office at 5164 West 95th Street. This was a 6-0-1 vote to approve petition number 2019-7. Stephen Hines, the petitioner, District 2. And then B is an ordinance granting that request. C is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for a restaurant in an O office zoning district and a landscaping variation at 5665 West 95th Street. This was a 5-0 vote to approve petition number 2019-19, Oaklawn Food LLC. Care of Lee Fry Companies is the petitioner in District 3. And D is an ordinance granting that request. 11E is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for a health club at 10327 South Central Avenue. This was a 4-1 vote to approve. Petition number 1920. Nakia Samuels is the petitioner in District 5. F is an ordinance granting that request. G is ordinance 1925-83, an ordinance amending certain sections of Title IX, Chapter 4 of the Oaklawn Village Code, entitled Rates and Charges. H is ordinance 1925-84, an ordinance authorizing the disposal of 3 vehicles seized by the Village of Oaklawn Police Department. I is ordinance 1925-85, an ordinance creating Title III, Chapter 34 of the Oaklawn Code pertaining to the prohibition of cannabis business establishments. J is ordinance 1925-86, an ordinance terminating designation of the Triangle Redevelopment Project Area. K is ordinance 1925-87, an ordinance authorizing the amendment of the continuing covenant agreement relating to the $20 million Village of Oak Lawn, Illinois Regional Water System Revenue Bonds Revolving Line of Credit, Series 2014. L is Ordinance 1925-88, an ordinance amending certain sections of Title 11 of the Oak Lawn Municipal Code pertaining to night parking restrictions. M is Resolution 1925-86, a resolution awarding 2020 supply of sign materials bids. N is Resolution 1925-87, resolution awarding a supply of graded limestone aggregate materials to Material Service Corporation, doing business as Hanson Material Service Corporation. O is Resolution 1925-88, a resolution awarding 2020 supply of street light bulbs and electrical supplies bid. P is Resolution 1925-89, a resolution approving a release and settlement agreement in Quayler versus Village of Oak Lawn, case number 2018 CV 5118. Q is a motion to approve after the Board of Trustees in executive session 2019-11 dated November 12, 2019, reviewed for the release of closed meeting minutes December 12, 2017, number 1714, January 9, 2018, number 1801, January 23, 2018, number 1802, April 10, 2018, number 1805, May 22, 2018, number 1806, June 22, 2018, number 1807, August 14, 2018, number 1808, October 23, 2018, number 1809, December 18, 2018, number 1810, January 8, 2019, number 1901, January 22, 2019, number 1902, February 12, 2019, number 1903, April 9, 2019, number 1904, May 28, 2019, number 1905, July 9, 2019, number 1906, July 24, 2019, number 1907, that the need for confidentiality still exists. 11R is a request to approve the cancellation of the December 24, 2019 Board of Trustees meeting. May I have a motion on item 11, please?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
Thank you. That was Trustee Warder who made that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Desmond is our second. Any discussion here?
I'd like to remove L.
Okay, we have a request to move L.
And I'd like to remove I.
Okay. Thank you.
I think I'd like to remove E
Okay.
and C.
F, E and F together?
Yeah, E and F together, and C, A, or B, and B, I'm sorry, C and D,
Okay. C and D like David.
yes.
Okay, so we have requests to move C and D, E and F, I and L. Okay, are there any other discussion? So we're calling the vote then on everything except C, D, E, F, I, and L. Let's take that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Trustee Phelan.
Yes.
Trustee Warder.
Yes.
Trustee Mallow.
Yes.
Trustee Stalker.
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to read item C and D. This is 11C, a request to approve and planning referral for a special use permit for a restaurant in an O-office zoning district and a landscaping variation at 5665 West 95th Street. This was a 5-0 vote to approve petition number 2019-19, Oaklawn Food LLC, care of Leaf Fry Companies, petitioner in District 3. And D is an ordinance granting that request. May I have a motion on C, please?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Trustee Mallow made that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Desmond is our second. Thank you. Any discussion? Trustee Mallow?
I think Mr. Lee's here, so if he'd like to come up and introduce himself and tell us what he's going to do in our village.
Thank you. Sure. Good morning. This is, if you could come to the podium, sir, over here. And there's a microphone so people who are watching at home can hear. And you're accompanied by your son-in-law. Very nice. So the address, sir, is the old bank there, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We basically are developers of A&W Restaurant. A&W this year is celebrating their 100th year. It's a family-style restaurant, and we are thrilled to have an opportunity to bring Oak Lawn this sort of history, this sort of family-oriented food and fun place to recreate, eat, and most important, drink root beer. I know everybody likes to drink beer, apparently. But we like to drink root beer.
Very good.
Anthony will actually be operating the restaurant on a daily basis.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. This is a family business. Besides being real estate developers, we endeavored in the food and beverage industry about 10 years ago. So we had small businesses within the food and beverage. We operate a few restaurants right now. As we speak, we bumped into A&W Enterprises, I would say. They own about 800 of these across the globe, 600 just in the United States. We started discussions with A&W about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Been down to Kentucky. Their corporate offices are in Lexington, so I was able to be there for 3.5 days, and fell in love with the brand and with the way they operate, what the significance of the brand is to the American people, to the lifestyle of American people, the history that it brings, and how the most important is it's a restaurant that's really family-oriented. I've been in many of them in the last year and a half, just visiting and trying to understand the dynamics of the restaurant. It's moms with kids, and it's just a fun place to be. So we're really excited to bring to the community here in Oaklawn.
Very good. Does anyone have questions? Trustee Phelan?
Yes, can you guys tell us, just roughly speaking, what an average A&W does in sales in a year?
Yeah, basically, the average sale throughout the country is about $900,000.
And I think that's important for everyone here to know. In addition to being a great place, great root beer, we're taking a bank that doesn't pay the village anything in terms of retail taxes. And that's nothing, no slight against banks. We need banks, but they're going to come in and put in a business that's going to pay us, Brian, $20,000 a year in restaurant tax, in addition to the property taxes that you would pay. So this is a net positive on the financial aspects alone, but it is a
One
great
thing
brand.
Also, about bringing into the community, it's not just the food and the sales tax that we bring in. The way that we operate our restaurants, like many other restaurant operators, we like to bring an extra effort to the community. Like we had this morning, that check for $19,000. We regularly do at one of our businesses. Every month, we spend about $2,500 in fundraising. For us, is advertisement, but at the same time, we help the community and local establishments that then reach out to help those in need. So we do fundraisers at the establishment. We bring in that kind of fundraiser for like 4 hours. What we do is the sales. We lock down the sales those 4 hours, and we give anything between 25% and 30% to that fundraiser off the sales. So that's an extra thing that we usually do on a regular basis, besides sales tax
And jobs for all the Oaklawn
And
High School
jobs.
kids that are going to
And
work right across the street.
Jobs is that we're looking at hiring a lot of seniors, old folks like me, who still want to work, and young people. It's a nice, solid mix.
Well, you got a good source right across the street in the high school there, so.
We are depending on that.
Yeah, we are.
It is a fantastic location, and but I think you will also can also expect. I think that if you talk to Mariano's or Cooper's Hawk and all these other businesses that have recently come to Oaklawn, they have far exceeded all their sales forecasts.
I wish that happens.
I think you'll be happy.
Trustee of Order.
Yeah, Mayor, I attended planning and development when they made their presentation, and there were some residents that had some concerns about traffic in the neighborhood. And I have found over the years when these type of establishments come, we can deal with the traffic concerns here, okay, to protect the sanctity of the neighborhood. Also, you do a wonderful job for veterans on Veterans Day. At least the corporation does with free Rippler floats for any veterans.
Yes.
I'd like to mention it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, let's call the vote on 11E, and do we need to do F separately, Paul? No, we can take them together. Okay, 11E and F, please. Let's call that vote, please.
Aren't they C and D?
I'm sorry, C and D, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm calling the vote on C and D. Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Trustee Phelan.
Yes.
Trustee Vorder.
Yes.
Trustee Mallow.
Yes.
Trustee Stalker.
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all and have a happy Thanksgiving.
You as well, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 11E and F, sorry about that. Item 11E is a request to approve the Zoning and Planning Commission referral for a special use permit for a health club at 10327 South Central Avenue. This was a 4-1 vote to approve petition number 2019-20. Nakia Samuels is the petitioner in District 5, and F is an ordinance granting that request. I think, who made the motion?
I did.
Okay, Trustee Mallow.
Motion approved.
Thank you. We have a motion approved, seconded. I'm going to give it to Trustee Vorderer. Any discussion?
Anytime we're gonna talk about health, I'd like to bring them up too.
Okay.
You know,
So we have people from the establishment. Are you Nakia? Hi, come on up. Tell us about your business. Do you want to bring your posters and stuff? Sure.
So the name of the company is actually Chicagoland Fat Loss Camp, and we're operating currently in 5 existing locations in South Holland. We have a location on 95th in Dan Ryan, in Matson, Lansing, and we just recently opened up Lansing. And now we're requesting to come to the Oak Lawn area. Travis Guards is the program that we operate. So our goal is to help people lose 20 pounds in 42 days. And we've been very successful with that. Here we have several of our 100-pound losers, Dinetta, as well as Tina. And we have Vicky, who's lost over 80 pounds, LaDonna over 40 pounds, and Andrea over 50 pounds.
Wow.
Is able to lose weight, and we want to bring that program to the Oak Lawn area. As far as we're not a typical gym, like I said, we tend to choose or have people in our program that want to lose, 40 to 60 pounds throughout the program. And we've to date have over 1,300 pound losers that have come through our program. So we're seeking the special request to come to the Oak Lawn area under the special use permit. We did in our meeting on November 18th mention, one of the board members mentioned the lighting and the family parking, Family Dollar. So we did get a letter from the real estate person to actually give us approval that they will update the lighting in that area so that it can be well lit when we come, because we operate from the hours of 4:00 a.m. till about 6 or 7:00 a.m. and then again in the evening from around 5 to 7 p.m.
So will the entrance be on the front?
Yep, so the entrance will be, so as you park in the
corner.
Family Dollar, you can actually walk around. You do not go through the alley.
Good.
We will have motion lighting in the back of the alley for anyone who's in that area, but the entrance will be in that corner next to the wine and spirits entryway.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, let's call the vote on E and F.
Trustee Desmond.
Yes.
Trustee Phelan.
Yes.
Trustee Vorder.
Yes.
Mallow.
Yes.
Trustee Stalker.
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. And thank you.
Congratulations to the weight loss loser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Awesome.
What's the actual,
can't lose
what was
3
the name
pounds.
of it?
yes, yes.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, item I is ordinance 1925-85, an ordinance creating Title III, Chapter 34 of the Oak Lawn Code pertaining to the prohibition of cannabis business establishments. I'm going to turn the mic over to our counsel, who has something to say before we discuss this.
So this isn't, I'm looking for more direction this morning than an action. That's why I don't need a motion on this. This is more of a discussion point. I think as I briefed many people on the board, the way the state law is written, that the village has to take an affirmative action if they want to opt out before the end of the year. We only have 2 meetings left. We have one after today. So that's why I wanted to bring it to the board's attention so I can get some direction. I got a few calls. Because we're doing this by legislation, yes, we can opt back in later on through legislation at another date. That's my opinion. Secondly, I think if we do decide that the direction is today to opt out. We have to have a public hearing on that between now and our December 10th meeting before we take formal action and pass an ordinance. Secondly, if we decide after this discussion this morning that you want to consider going forward with not opt out, so the opposite, then what I would recommend is that we send this down to our PD and see to come back with zoning recommendations that would bring back on the 10th. So we refer this down to zoning, out, public hearing, and we bring it back on the 10th. I would just, one, I guess, other point I would say is that, what we're prohibiting is the businesses from in the borders of Oak Lawn. That's not going to prohibit people from the use, right? It's going to be illegal to use. So just so we're clear about that. I would say, secondly, without getting too far down into the weeds on this, because it gets very complex very quickly, is that if you do allow businesses, let's say a dispensary, that doesn't mean they're allowed to use at that dispensary. So that's another little distinction in there. Just want to make that clear. So what I'm looking for today is some guidance from the board on A, opt out. We'll have a public hearing between now and the 10th. B, you want to consider being part of it. Then we have to send it down to zoning to come back with recommendations for us before the board to decide what areas in town you would consider or the planning commission would recommend that these types of businesses go to.
I'd like to make a motion to opt out.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to opt out, and by trustee Oliniechek, seconded by trustee,
Borderer.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion?
Yes.
Trustee Desmond?
By not opting out, we still control whether we want to allow someone to sell marijuana in our town or not. It's not going to, either decision is not going to affect the use of it.
Correct.
The people that are using it now are still going to be using it.
Well, they won't be breaking the law. I mean, I'll turn for that one to the chief of police. The people that are using it now won't be, if they start using it after the first of the year, will not be breaking the law. But to your first question is, can we control it? I guess yes, through zoning.
So I guess the question we have to ask is, do we want a licensed, regulated business that we can tax and collect revenue from and use that revenue to keep our property taxes without raising them, or do we stay with the drug dealer?
That's one way to look at it.
Okay.
I mean, people are still buying, selling, and using it.
Well, stealing drugs illegally will still be illegal, chief, right? I mean, so
Right,
if they're doing, so,
We're pretty much saying, yeah, we're going to stay with the illegal drug dealer. We're not going to allow a business to come in and...
I would just say that there are some towns in our area that are allowing it. So to think that they're going to go to an illegal drug dealer to purchase, I mean, they could go to another town, right? I mean, to a dispensary in another town, I suppose.
Right. But I guess all I'm saying is, it's illegal right now. It's going to be made legal.
Correct.
By not allowing a business to come in, sell it, tax it, help the homeowners with property taxes, or do we stay with the illegal drug dealer?
Or the neighboring town.
Or the neighbouring town. Either way, it doesn't change the use of it.
Correct. It'd still be legal to use it in the town.
Okay.
But maybe not in public.
I'm going to let Chief weigh in, then Trustee Stalker.
If I could just make a couple points. This is a precarious ground for me as a chief of police and as an acting village manager. I'm kind of torn in two different directions here, working with Brian, seeing the budget and seeing what we're trying to do to avoid increasing property taxes. And it's been a very difficult process. I know Brian's been, and his team have been struggling, as this board has, and the mayor, to keep taxes from being raised. The problem is whether we pass this or not, we are going to be dealing with this problem. This is another unfunded mandate that the state has placed upon our village now, and now we are going to have to train our officers. We are going to have to look at manpower needs. We're going to have to increase resources to deal with some of these issues. And as a acting village manager, I think this would be a way to get revenue that could address some of these issues. We're already dealing with the opioid crisis. We're trying to find funding to get Narcan for our cars and for our ambulances and everything else. We're trying to get grants for those. and those are getting more and more difficult to find. There was just a news story last night about Narcan and how the city of Chicago got a grant and now they're doing training on it. Again, if this was my decision as chief of police, I think the state of Illinois to bring this in and now put it on us is not a good decision, but we're going to have to deal with it either way. So we are either going to try to do some kind of legislation where we can set the ground rules of where it's going to be, because as I've had many conversations with different trustees, by themselves, we are going to have to deal with this problem. And people are going to go to another community, as Paul said, and they're going to come into Oak Lawn and they're going to use it hopefully in their homes. Now, the law does state that they can't smoke it out in public. They can't, that you can possess a certain amount until you get to your residence. You can purchase a certain amount, but it's here and we're going to have to deal with it.
Okay, Trustee Stalker.
Yeah, I just want to raise a couple of points. I will be voting no on this, and let me tell you why. The first thing I want is a public hearing. I took an informal question at the last Chamber of Commerce meeting about a month ago, and the people there weren't dramatically in favor of marijuana sales, but it was more than 50%. Is that scientific? Absolutely not. Next, I'd like to see an ordinance presented that we can review, make sure it's correct, and vote on it. We don't have such a thing yet. Third, enforcement. Whether or not it's in Oak Lawn for sale or in Alsip or Chicago Ridge or any neighboring community, we're going to have the same enforcement problem no matter what. And we're going to have to decide whether we want additional revenue to determine whether to support that added enforcement. So I'm going to vote no for those three reasons. Thank you.
Trustee Warder and, yes.
Sorry. So, just to be clear, we're just starting the process to opt out. This is not the formal action to opt out. I just want a point of clarification. And I know the motion was to opt out, but we have to have the public hearing, then we'll bring back.
I understand.
And there was an ordinance attached, just so you know. So, just so you know. Thank you.
Trustee Warder.
Yeah, I have grave concerns too. This is a major social change for our society, and I have found that sometimes when you're a pioneer, you get an arrow in your back. My experience as a police officer and as a combat veteran in Vietnam, where I first was introduced to smoking, I have grave concerns about the social issue and the long-term effect. And if we can opt out, do the public hearing, get more input, then make a more intelligent decision on what this community wants, I think we would be moving forward in the proper and right way. And one other thing, as Dr. Yerkes has said, I have studied the issue quite a bit since this has become legal. And in many of the cities in Colorado, the revenue sources are not there when you especially weigh the consequences of this. So again, I'd like to get a little more input. I'd like to see what other communities do with this before I cast a vote. So I'll be voting to opt out too.
Trustee Phelan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And Dr. Yurts, I could have stolen your speech and read point by point because I agree with everything you said. I think there's an important point there, differentiating between decriminalizing it, not believing someone should be sitting in jail because they used it, and endorsing and enabling it. And I feel that if we were to allow this, we are in effect endorsing, enable it. I don't agree with making decisions for money, kind of under duress. We had the same debate when the red light camera issue came before us a dozen years ago, and I don't want to rehash that, but I had similar concerns there. The fundamental problem is our state is probably the worst run state in the country. Not probably, it is. It's dysfunctional. People down there don't have the political guts to do what will help all of us. They dance around and do silly things, and I feel this is a silly thing, because I think, Bud, you said at a recent meeting, and I agree with this. Unlike gaming, where B.J. McMahon's Palermo's, our current businesses would immediately benefit. This is going to be a business model where people who are likely connected, wealthy, are going to be the chosen ones, and they're going to come in and open these dispensaries. But I think you said something really pertinent. And at some point, somebody's going to roll all these up and build a conglomerate, unlike Philip J. Morris. And nobody in this village who owns a business, or very few, if any, are going to benefit financially from that. And that's assuming you want to do it for financial reasons. I don't agree at all about the windfall that's coming. Terry said it best. If you read up on these things, there's the initial wow, and then there's the fall off. And the fall off, I believe, is due to this. When government's involved and all these layers of taxes come on, the price of this product is going to skyrocket. And where I do agree with the chief, if you have these organizations in your town, you're also going to have those black market people hovering around there, waiting. And again, I don't know, I'm not a marijuana person. I don't know what it costs per an ounce, but you can bet that's going to be a target-rich environment for people. And again, this isn't legal. You know, there's limits on how much you can buy, how much you can have, how close you can be to school. And when I was approached by somebody who had this in mind, here's how they were selling it. We are going to have 24-hour surveillance. We're going to have vaults like Fort Knox. We're selling it, and I said, I know that Dr. Yerk's office doesn't need that. Palermo's doesn't need that. Why would you need that if it's this great new thing? And it's not a great new thing. Let's just be honest. I saw statistics, and again, somebody who's proposing this can tell me a different statistic, but one that I believe, based upon my own experiences in life and in college. For the record, I tried it, and I did inhale. Not a fan, never was. But based on my experience like Terry, I saw statistics, I believe. People who use alcohol regularly, 1 in 25 develop some sort of dependency, borderline addiction. People who use this drug product, 1 in 5 develop some sort of dependency. Now, my experience could have been people, maybe they were predisposed to be those types of people. I don't know. But I just know that the people in my life I know who were regular users of this product have struggled in life. I'm just going to say it that way. And one of the unfortunate things about social networks is you get to see that. And so I just think it's important we have to distinguish between endorsing it and allowing it and not putting people in jail. If you read a recent story, a final point I'll say about this, the yield in Illinois was way below what they thought it was going to be. Let's not forget where we live versus California and Arizona. You know, you're going to have all this demand for this product, and I don't know how it's going to work if the dispensaries in Illinois can buy from California, but you can bet the price is going to, we are going to have a high price market relative to other southern and western states, my belief, which is again going to add to the current problem where the black market or the dealers are going to, they're just going to explode. I mean, I think it's going to invite more people to get into the black market side of things. And one final point. You can control the quality when you have the dispensaries. You can't when they're the black market. And we're hearing all these opiate-laced things. I think if you invite an environment and create an environment where it's more available in your borders, you bring that stuff. Now, I don't want to say, and if it happens in Alsip, I don't care, or it happens in Chicago Ridge or somewhere in a bordering town, but if we have the ability in some ways to limit that or prevent it, that's what I would like to do. So I'd be voting no as well.
Trustee Stalker.
Just a point of clarification. The reason for vaults, protection, Brinks trucks is, like it or not, there's a cash business. No other, Dr. Yerkes, you do not normally take a lot of cash, but the marijuana business will. And that's probably a negative from my point of view, but it isn't, it does happen, all right?
Thank you. Trustee Mello.
You know, when we talk about legalize it, and maybe Bud and Terry can speak to this, when did the country decide they were looking to legalize marijuana? In the 60s? At what point did they? And I think the success here.
That was only in college.
Is that okay? The success that coalition is looking for is in the arrests. You know, they weren't looking for it to be at a Quickie Mart so that they could pick it up quick. They were looking not to get arrested for it anymore. And I think that's the money. Tim, I'm with you. If it was the windfall of money that was just coming. I just don't see that windfall of money.
Well, we don't know if it's a windfall or not. It might not be, but why close the door on that?
Right.
You could see if it's a
opportunity?
windfall for LSIP, and then if it is.
Right, I mean,
Not talk over each other, guys.
Right,
One
but
at a
so
time.
why shut the door on that? Why not just, and I agree with our council, a public hearing is probably the proper way to do this. But, you know, to your point, Paul, I mean, it actually wasn't made illegal. It wasn't proscribed till 1970. It wasn't even banned during Prohibition. I mean, it's been around for 5,000 years. I mean, the Indian, the Apache and the Sioux, when they sat around their campfire, what do you think was in the peace pipe?
Trustee Phelan.
The point I'm making about is, Terry said it best. We could do this at any time. We're not committing to something forever. And there's enough hair on this dog, I think, to say, let some other pioneer try it.
Okay, any other discussion before I call the vote? I want to make sure
But are we
everybody.
calling a vote? I mean,
Well, what we're doing is,
An ordinance here.
we're starting this is a vote to stop the process to opt out.
To start the.
Right.
Start.
To get the hearing.
Sorry.
Hearing.
Start the
Just
process.
to be clear, so I'll just go back to the beginning. What I'm hearing is Alex made a motion, second by Terry, to start the process to opt out, which means we will have a public hearing between now and the 10th on this topic, and then we'll bring it back before the board on the 10th for final action. That's what we're voting, that's the direction I'm looking for today.
and just to
Trustee Desmond.
clarify one thing, to piggyback on what Tom said, I'm really not in favour of marijuana use. I've actually never used it. If there's any way that we can help our homeowners keep their property taxes down, I'm all for it.
And also support our police officers in the challenging work that they have.
If any way we can collect revenue.
Can we take the vote?
Okay, Trustee Stalker.
On the basis of that clarification, voting to move forward with a hearing and to write a legitimate ordinance, I will vote yes.
Okay, so let's call that vote, please. And Paul, tell people again one more time so they know what they're voting on.
You're giving direction for the village to move forward with a hearing on the, option to opt out, which will, if that, depending on how that hearing goes, and then we'll bring it back on the 10th for the final action.
So one question. We've seen in other towns where that invites all these groups, and mostly protesting groups.
Sure.
Is there something that we could put in this hearing that suggests where we stand, or is it no?
No,
Okay.
it's a public hearing, that anybody can come.
Yeah.
Now, not discouraging anybody from coming, but for example, if they believe there's a consensus or no, I mean, if there's a
I think
consensus
they'll
to opt out.
I think they can sense from the direction of the board and our vote today which way it's going, so.
I want to be clear. Apparently, I'm not clear. No one who's not watching this on TV is going to know. Is there going to be something written in our public pronouncement? Okay.
It'll be a discussion on opting out, though, a hearing on opting out.
Correct.
So it won't be a
Just
hearing
discussion
on
on the topic.
marijuana.
That's what I meant. It's be specific to opting out.
If we're opting in, we don't need to have the public hearing.
Right,
So
right,
it's
right.
Implied.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
so a yes vote is public hearing to opt out.
A public hearing in anticipation of legislation to opt out at the next meeting.
And a no vote is to maintain the status quo and,
Correct.
Not to opt out.
okay.
Double negative.
Okay. Does anyone have questions on what we're voting on? Okay, let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
No.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. So we will schedule that hearing and,
I'll get together with staff and we'll put
Yeah.
something together. You know, obviously, we have a holiday come week, so probably sometime next week. We could actually do it,
Before the next meeting?
we could do it that very day. So I'll get back to everybody with all the particulars. I don't know if that's what everybody's schedule's like, so I'll get back to you.
thank you very much. Okay, item L, ordinance 192588, an ordinance amending certain sections of Title 11 of the Oak Lawn Municipal Code pertaining to night parking restrictions. May I have a motion on L?
Motion to postpone.
Thank you. We have a motion postponed by trustee Oliniechek, seconded by trustee Mallow. Any discussion? Let's call it vote. Yes, yes, counsel.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan? Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you very much. We're on item 12. This is ordinance 1925-89, an ordinance amending Title III, Chapter 4 pertaining to amusement taxes. May I have a motion, please, on item 12?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Trustee Mallow made that motion, seconded by
Second.
Trustee Phelan. Any discussion here? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yes.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. We're on item 13, Village Clerk's Report. Jane?
Right. 13A, approval of semi-monthly disbursements, number 2019-22D, dated November 26, 2019, in the amount of $2,194,821.98.
Thank you. May I have a motion on 13A, please?
Motion approved.
Thank you. Trustee Oliniechek made that motion. Second.
Second. I'll second.
Trustee Vorder, thank you. Any discussion? Let's call that vote, please.
Trustee Desmond?
Yes.
Trustee Phelan?
Yes.
Trustee Vorder?
Yep.
Trustee Mallow?
Yes.
Trustee Stalker?
Yes.
Trustee Oliniechek?
Yes.
Just a couple more things. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Looks like it's going to be a decent day for us. And also, this upcoming Saturday, the Village's Santa on the Green event will take place. It is November 30th, from noon to 3 on the Village Green. Please come out and enjoy.
Thank you very much. Item 14, Village President's Report. I do want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for. I look around the village of Oak Lawn. It is absolutely beautiful, amazing. We saw 2 fine new businesses who want to come in our community. We have more to follow. It's a privilege and a joy to be part of this process. I just want to take 2 minutes, if the board can indulge me just a little bit. I want to talk about our village manager's letter to us last week on his decision to leave his position here and move on. I've worked with Larry since, I was elected in 2013, but several years before that on different charitable projects in our community. And under his tenure, Oak Lawn has surged ahead of our neighbors. We lead in economic development, public safety, and livability. Larry was extremely intelligent, passionate, and driven, and he inspired our team, our incredible team, to do more, be the best, and go the extra mile, always for our residents. And the impact of his leadership, I feel, will make a positive difference in our community for generations to come. And I am certainly thankful for all that hard work, and I know the board is as well. When he first came to Oak Lawn, no one knew who this guy was. We were all like, oh no, what are we in for here? And he made a point to reach out to as many civic organizations, charitable organizations, service clubs, businesses. He made a point to be accessible. He wanted to learn, listen, and build relationships. And that early effort and his continued accessibility made him highly respected in our community and very effective. He had creative partnerships with our auto dealers, with our schools, with our business community, which was a win-win-win for all. These were very creative things that were not being done elsewhere. In the years leading up to the 2013 elections in particular, he showed strength of resolve, ethics, and integrity that made a big difference for this community moving forward. It was not easy, but again, he was always acting in the interest of the taxpayer. And when a large community partner was not paying their fair share, he held firm with us and brokered a historic agreement, which saves the taxpayers millions of dollars and will continue to do so moving forward. When regional projects had Oak Lawn paying a disproportionate share of operations, he made sure that that would not happen moving forward. Examples of this are our $200+ million reconstruction of our regional water system and reorganization of our dispatch center, which now use a proportionate share payment model that's fair for all and ensures that Oak Lawn taxes benefit Oak Lawn residents. When this board kind of turned over in 2013, his life did not get any easier. We instructed him to lower the tax levy every year, and the team has been incredibly creative in enhancing services for residents. He formed public-private partnerships while maintaining municipal management and control. For example, restructuring our regional dispatch center saved residents approximately $400,000 in that first year of implementation, and it continues to save money year after year, while at the same time, that center is markedly more professional and continues to attract new communities as customers. We asked him to lower the tax levy year, but we also paid down more than $20 million in debt while tripling our pension contributions. Most managers would have run for the hills, but he and his team sharpened your pencils and created a climate which grew our local economy. And under his tenure, developments at Stony Creek Promenade, Oak Lawn Commons, Advocate Metal Group, and others have created thousands of quality jobs. And Oak Lawn is now a destination for shopping, dining, and entertainment. And I will never get tired of seeing cars with stickers from out of town coming to Oak Lawn to shop. Establishments like Cooper's Hawk, the Barrel Club, Stacked, Fry the Coop, and the Original Pancake House are popular and iconic in our community. His commitment to public safety, and this board's as well, leaves Oak Lawn as one of the top 50 safest communities of our size in the nation, despite being on the edge of an immense urban area and all that entails. Our first responders regularly come to Oak Lawn to train for emergency preparedness, and Oak Lawn leads in emergency management. We now enjoy an ISO 1 rating, which is ranking us in the top 10% of the nation for our fire departments. The $230 million regional water project achieved unanimous approval from all 12 municipalities and obtained low-interest IEPA loans, which made this happen. So for more than 325,000 people are served by our water system, and it will meet the needs of growth through 2040 with extra capacity secured for Oak Lawn's future. It's a more secure system and a safer system for everyone. And livability, I last want to talk about. We've made great strides there also. He worked to increase our urban canopy, create bike trails, enhance our open spaces, and beautify our streets. When our trees were decimated due to the emerald ash borer, he worked with our team to create diversity and replanting to make our community even more beautiful and resilient. He created an architectural design and review committee and works with planning and development to make sure any new development will enhance our community and enhance quality of life for our residents. We have a master plan in place now to maintain infrastructure and eliminate flooding. He fought to create a quiet zone which eliminated more than 109,000 jarring train horns going through our town, our residential neighborhood at all hours of the night. So in this time of Thanksgiving, I want to thank Larry for the passion and energy he brought to our community. The integrity, intellect, and keen understanding of governance has been highly impactful, and I feel it's solidified Oak Lawn's future as a leading community. So on behalf of our 58,000 residents, and our team, I just want to thank Larry, and he will be missed. I wish him the very best in future endeavors. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and I could go on, all the little things, and he could not do it without this board. He could not do it without our excellent management team, but I wanted it recorded in the minutes. What a legacy he leaves. And Trustee Phelan.
Yeah, and, I couldn't have said it better. And one thing that's not readily apparent to people, and they need to know, is he did all of this in the face of some of the most horrific attacks and politicking, and I wish I could make it more clear to people watching at TV, the media covering this, the level of attack almost immediately after his hire. Oak Lawn notoriously had rough and tumble politics for whatever reason. Even when I first got on the board, I'm scratching my head why a community this small would have such rough and tumble politics. But it started immediately after his hire. Our manager form of government means he serves the will of 7 people. And knock on wood, I've seen since I came back, would that he would have had a board like this. We don't always agree, as we saw tonight, but at least there's respectful disagreement. That didn't exist for, almost all of his tenure. And he was still able to accomplish what the mayor just ticked off there, and probably more. She could have gone on.
Much more.
It's a tragedy what happened, and it was difficult seeing how it played out in the attacks online from people, ignorant people, just hateful, ignorant people that don't know what they're talking about, that feel the need to look for the clicks and the likes and the shares and blogs. it's disheartening, and the one thing about this country that I fear is that level of hate and animosity and divisiveness, continuing and growing because people get so, a select amount of people apparently get off on that. Look at all the people who agree with me. And if you look at it close enough like I do, it's a small percentage and it's a echo chamber of ignorance. But I just need to reiterate how hard it must have been and how many times had I been in his seat, I would have been gone in a heartbeat. Kids, grandkids, his wife getting ill. So I wish him nothing but the best, and it's a sad time.
Thank you. We have trustee Stalker, then trustee Warder. Sorry.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for bringing these issues up. I agree with everything that's been said so far, 100%. It's a terrible tragedy that Larry was involved with, obviously for him, but more importantly, the poor gentleman that was hurt. I wish him Godspeed, but I do agree that Larry's been a terrific representative of the village of Oak Lawn, and I appreciate all his work. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Warder.
Well spoken, Tom. Sometimes this negativity really makes you say to yourself, why did I even do this? And especially today with social media. I've been around for a long time. I've worked for a lot of village managers, and I have come to learn that Larry was really committed to this community. And well said, Mayor. The things that he brought far exceed previous village managers, in my opinion. He was very, very good at his job. And we're all losers as a result of this tragedy. Everybody here in this village by losing Larry. It had to happen, but we are all losers. And hopefully our new village manager can fill those shoes. Big job. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, I'm going to move on. So, Chief, you got your work cut out for you, sir.
Thank you.
He got a better uniform.
That thank you didn't sound sincere at all.
And he has handcuffs, remember.
So I'd like a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Trustee Warder, seconded by trustee Mallow. Any discussion? Call the vote, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? Carries.
Thank you.